Hey, that's me. What's going on? I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here. It's been a bit. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes. Sure, sure, sure. Yeah. Another thing to take into account there too, now that we're talking about it and thinking about it out loud, is like, so 250 versus 250, huge battle. Obviously, like it's a huge epic battle. 500 v 500 is more epic, and it's an even larger battle. But when you up the cap of the amount of players that can participate, you potentially turn the outcome of the win into more of a Zerg based mechanic. Like so I mean, just rough numbers. The server size will hold 10,000 people, 100 nodes, roughly 100 people per specific node on average. And so when you think about it, like, some of the big nodes might be able to just push around a few of the smaller ones in a 500 v 500 situation in a way that they couldn't 250 v 250. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Uh, is it out of 10? Because yeah, it's a 10. If I can go higher, it's higher. It's one of the best things I've ever played. Yeah. Yeah. Neither have I. I'll be streaming more tonight because it's that up. Yeah. So I've been working. Are you gonna do a review video, Nice? Because I'm doing one talking about like all the. This is actually a good segue into Ashes of Creation. That's why I'm continuing this. Um, are you gonna do a video discussing like your thoughts on Shadow of the Erd Tree or anything like that? Because I'm currently doing a video discussing the crazy downvoting that happened last weekend. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I got two tangents off that tangent of a tangent of a tangent. You were talking about getting humbled in Elden in the Shadow of the Erd Tree, and I had my experience too. So I was live streaming and I fought the Golden Hippo, and uh, no spoilers, but fuck that thing. That's all I'm gonna say. I didn't like that fight at all. Was not happy about any of that. But like it was getting late in the night and I was getting a little tired. I'm like, okay, I beat the hippo. I'm gonna go to the next boss, right? I'm gonna kill NPCs. I'm gonna go to the next boss, and then the next time I kick up the game, I'll be right there, right? Like that was my plan. When I tell you that my live stream was like 45 minutes of me constantly dying, going up the stairs around, you know, where all like the cliffs are after the Golden Hippo to where you're trying to get up to Mesmer. I died for 45 minutes trying to get up there, dude. Like the NPCs just kept knocking me off the side. I'd go into, yeah, it was so like a few. So the regular NPCs didn't get me the first time. It's when you go into the room and there was the bow guy and then like the sword and shield guy. I didn't realize there was two of those guys, so they humbled me, and I was like, well, damn it, this sucks. And so then I started pressing. And because I started pressing to get back up there, like then the random NPCs started killing me. And I'm like, okay, I gotta like actually focus here because these things are just crushing me. But it's been super fun. I've really enjoyed it. And for those of you guys that don't know, the drama that happened over that game this last weekend was a lot of people have been complaining that the game is too hard and the game is way too difficult, and so it got review bombed on Steam to where it was only like 60% of the community liked it. Like there's a ton of negative reviews out there, and it was kind of funny because I was like, oh, that's interesting, like that makes sense. A lot of people aren't going to like it because it is tough to play. And, and then I'm seeing like different updates on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday nights. They're like, yeah, players didn't realize that they should be using their rune arcs. Players didn't realize that they should be collecting scatter blessings. And it's like they're not using the stuff available in the game to make it easier for themselves. And then they're mad that it's not easy. Right. And so I thought that was super interesting. And then they interviewed Miyazaki, and Miyazaki was basically like, difficulty is part of the game. This is the way like this is what our game is. Like we literally won game of the year. He didn't say this part, but it's like, dude, we won game of the year of this 2 years ago. Our player base likes this. Some people aren't, but our player base likes this. And Helldivers jumped in as well, the devs from Helldivers, and they're like, yeah, if you don't support, if you're a game that doesn't support your player base, you have a game for nobody. It was something like that, and I was like, yeah, that's a worth doing a video on, because good developers make games like that. Like they make good games, and having an idea for what your game is about and what it is and catering to it has you making game of the year games like Baldur's Gate and Elden Ring, and catering to whoever you think your player base is has you making a game like New World. And so, which one do you want to be? Do you want to be Elden Ring or do you want to be New World? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Excellent. Sure. Sure. I can get behind that. Yeah. Sure. Oh yeah. Oh, kicking puppies is yeah, yeah. I heard that there was some performance issues for some people too. But yeah, I heard a lot of complaints that it was also not fun or too hard. That one killed me.
personal than Node Wars. Would you agree, chat? I like Guild Wars to me is like you got beef. A Node War, I can see a mayor doing it just maybe just because they're greedy, maybe they want to do something, but a Guild War is going to be like beef, in my opinion. I don't see someone just playing around in the UI, scrolling through guilds, like, let's go to war with these guys. I think someone robs a caravan, and so as a result, it's on site. Like, we want to harm you. And I can imagine as a result that these guild wars should have bigger negatives. I'm talking like your guild, if they win this war, they get a 5% XP boost, and the losing guild has a not permanent. I mean, when I say permanent, I mean like for 1 week. For 1 week, they get 10% less XP, or they have this negative. They have increased tax. I don't know. What you guys get where I'm going with this? I feel like it should be more of a oppressive negative is the way I'll put that. What do you think about Guild Wars versus Node Wars? Else? Oh,
Guild Wars versus Node Wars. Man,
I think I just think it should be more personal. Welcome on in, Annie. Wrong room.
I think it's going to be. I hope that they have different systems. It'll be fun to get in there and test to see what the differences between the two are. But yeah, I'm hoping Guild Wars are. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it. They're a little bit less reward heavy. So it doesn't cost as much to kick them up, like doing a node war takes time, like a mayor has to go about doing these things. Like it should be easier to go into node wars. There should also the rewards should be good, obviously, but it should just be easier to if Nyce and I are in a guild, we should be able to fight multiple guilds at the same time if we so choose to. Like if we want to, we should be able to go to war with a lot of guilds. So
you know what? I think this is a good segue into guild. I think this Guild Wars conversation is a good segue into some IRL Guild Wars. Like how big or intricate and how far will these beefs go inside of Ashes of Creation? We talked about this before. Ashes of Creation is a game to where I feel like Steven designed to see conflict. I think he likes that political stuff. I think he likes the idea of players having beef, fighting over scarce resources, et cetera, the open world PvP, all that good stuff, right? So if you guys are in the Voices of Verra Discord, I did link. Yeah, I did link a recent article from ABC News, and I'm sure a lot of you at this point have heard about this. But yeah, let me make sure you guys can see my screen. There we go. Sorry about the white mode. I know I just blinded all of you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not normally looking at ABC News, so.
So
you want to read this?
Yeah. So if you guys didn't hear, something went down over a game, and I'll go ahead and give a spoiler alert. This was over Arcade. Someone actually flew out to someone, and we'll read this in an article, but someone actually flew out to someone, and some things went down over a game. So let's read this. Wait, but actually, tinfoil hat here. Steven used to play Arcade, right? Steven used to play Arcade. He claimed to be sick over the weekend.
Uh-oh.
This news broke out. Well, he claimed to be sick this week. This news broke out, and now they have to delay stream. And if you look at the top of this article, it says it right there. New Jersey man allegedly flew to Florida to attack fellow gamer. And then it has this right here. And then it says Sharif. Steven Sharif is the Arcade gamer that did this. You guys just read it here via ABC News. Sharif, it says it right there. Yep. Says it right there.
Somebody's gonna take you seriously.
Sharif, clearly, yeah. Yeah. Can I? Yeah. Do I got to say JK? Yeah. Just get it chat. By the way, that does say sheriff for those who are. Because I know statistically, there's one person eating popcorn right now. Like, ooh.
Oh my god! Can you believe that the director of this game beat somebody with a hammer?
Now Alpha 2 is never coming out, right? Suspect was charged with second-degree murder. All right, so let's listen to this. A New Jersey man finds an attempted murder charge after allegedly flying to Florida and attacking fellow gamer with a hammer over an online dispute, authorities said. The two had never met in person before the suspect showed up at the victim's home, and Fernandina
Fernandina, yeah.
Fernandina Beach. I've never read that in my life. Fernandina Beach over the weekend, apparently to confront the victim. Nassau County Sheriff Bill Leeper said during a press briefing on Monday, announcing charges in the case. The incident is believed to have originated from an online altercation, Leeper said, calling the case a weird one. Ooh, that hammer is, oh my gosh. The suspect, Edward King, 20 years old, allegedly gained entry into the victim's home through an unlocked door and was wearing all black clothes, gloves, and a mask, and attacked him with a hammer when the victim got up from gaming to use the bathroom. It's kind of not funny, but it's kind of ironic that he was gaming at the time. To use the bathroom late Saturday or early Sunday, according to Leeper. The victim, who was believed to be around the same age as King, was able to wrestle his assailant to the ground. He and his stepfather, who was woken up by the screams for help, were able to disarm the suspect and restrain him until deputies arrived. Upon arrival, they discovered a significant amount of blood in the entryway of the home and the victim's bedroom. The victim sustained severe head wounds during the assault. The victim has since been released from a hospital. Yeah, it's a hammer. The victim has since been out the hospital, and then Kang was booked in the Nassau County Jail on Sunday and charged with attempted second-degree murder and armed burglary, and it's unclear if he has an attorney. This is over Arcage, a game that doesn't exist. This had to be private server Arcage or Arcage Classic. And here, let me get to that part of the article. I'll skip ahead. I could have sworn they mentioned Arcade. Yeah, here it is. The victim and suspect allegedly knew each other from the online video game Arcage. The Korean massively multiplayer online role-playing game will no longer be accessible in the United States as of Thursday. Its publisher announced in April, citing the declining number of active players. So Arcade just shut down yesterday, huh? This is crazy. A game that is dying, you went and threw your life over it. Like, I'm not saying if it's a popular game that justifies it, but my goodness, pick your battles, man.
Yeah.
What? Like, do you guys, and I, for one, just to make my PR statement here, I, for one, do not advocate for any altercation, beef, conflict, or whatever to spill from the online realm, especially in video games, to IRL. That, first off, let's be adults, let's be mature, and violence is wrong. But my goodness, you're gonna do it over Arcade? Really? Arcade is a game that literally would shut down days later. You got beef with this guy? Did he owe you some gold? Did he teabag you in PvP and you needed to purchase
caravan,
a freaking ticket? But, yeah, like what happened? What justified it? To use that you literally attempted murder. You didn't come up and like, yo, pull up, catch me outside. Like, no, you tried to break in his house and murder him. You tried to PK him IRL. You wanted to go corrupted. Like, really? You wanted to go corrupted in real life? Yeah, and bro brought a hammer.
Dude, you know what this is? He decided to be a rogue, to sneak in, to go full invis, like wait in stealth. He comes out with a better weapon, obviously. The other person didn't even have a weapon. Like he had tools for doing some PvE stuff, and he gets the advantage, and he still gets skill issued. Like, how do you get the jump and then get wrestled to the ground? I'm just, guys, it's like, it's so like this entire situation's so fucked. You missed one part of it, of the conversation. Here, Nyce, it says Leeper said the investigation is ongoing and charges may be upgraded. When asked about a motive in the assault, Kang allegedly told deputies that the victim is a bad person online. He also allegedly asked how much jail time you receive for breaking and entering an assault. I would say, Mr. Kang, it will be a long time before you play video games. Like, he's wondering how he can get back to play video games after assaulting somebody with a hammer. Dude, you're going away for a while. Like, you're going away for a long time.
Like, You know, the first thing I thought of, and the first I guess statement I went to make upon hearing this news about someone attacking
Yeah.
someone else over a video game. It wasn't about like, okay, guys, don't do that. That's not cool. It wasn't about public safety. It wasn't about the dangers of online
Yeah.
communications. It wasn't nothing about Ashes of Creation. The first thing I thought of when I heard that he broke into this guy's house and tried to kill him with a hammer was like, they really need to look into buffing melee combat. Like this guy had the element of surprise, and even as a melee user, he still end up losing the fight. Like maybe, and here's the thing: if he would have pulled up with like a short bow, especially the short bow from Ashes of Creation, or like a crossbow or a longbow, or maybe if he had like a wand and did some like range DPS, I think that I think that guy would have been a victim. Like, I don't think he would have left that. I think it would have been more lethal. I think it would have been more dangerous. But it goes to show you, and I don't know, maybe this deserves its own video. I think it goes to show you that too often in MMOs or IRL, like melee is just it's just so inefficient. I mean, think back to old times, like back in, I don't know, feudal Japan or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you had guys on the battlefield with swords and everything, and now look what they're doing. Now today we're using assault rifles because they got buffed. You know, range combat just constantly getting these buffs. But what about the melee guys? You know, what about the melee guys?
Sure.
I don't know. I think this is I think if I play Ashes of Creation and it turns out that melee combat is just underwhelming towards when in comparison to range DPS, and and Steven like pulls me to the side like, okay, what is your evidence for this? How are you basing the fact that the ranger is vastly outperforming the fighter DPS? I think I'm just gonna link this article. Like, bro, look at the trends. Look, this is like actual proof that you can't deny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's this entire situation is crazy. It's obviously not the first time that there's been player interactions. You know, we were talking about it in the Discord. You guys, I can provide a link in the Discord. We got links for the Discord everywhere, but people were brought up the point how in Eve, before a big battle, somebody shut off somebody's power before the power happened, before the fight happened. And it's like, you see stuff like this. And I wanted to, you guys can keep it as anonymous or as open as you want. I wanted to know what the craziest interactions you guys have had from players, because let's be honest, Ashes of Creation is it's partially inspired by Arcade. So we have to ask the question, could something like this happen in the Ashes of Creation space, since there's similar types of games? And I'll just start there. I'll tell my stories here in a minute. Let's hear from you, Nyce.
Yeah, I that's a good question. I for one, I always say I think, like I just said, the systems of Ashes of Creation kind of lean towards that. And I could really see people getting attached and immersed in this game to the point where these conflicts become real. Like there's going to be people with, I'm not painting a stereotype, but people that just sit around all day playing this game, maybe an adult with no job, or someone that could afford to do that, and they're gonna be so invested in this game. I got a feeling like people might be mad at their politicians IRL right now, right? I think someone's gonna get mad at the mayor. The mayor's gonna have certain powers, certain things with mandates. Maybe he decides to get rid of some apartments and you get evicted, or maybe he decides to get rid of that crafting bench that your crafter was using, and now you got to go across the world and use this other crafting bench with a high tax rate, and you're just angry. Maybe this guild you have beef with, it starts getting serious. Like you start seeing that they talk trash to you in Discord. They're uploading compilations X in your guild. They're just embarrassing you. They're calling you all kinds of names, and they're sieging your node constantly. They're declaring a guild war, siphoning XP. They're PKing you on site. You can't even get no gathering done, and they got people online 24/7. They are just harassing you, and this game is your life. And they bully's not the right word, but let's say they bully you to the point where you end up losing your freehold because they seized your node and they made sure you lost your freehold, specifically your
Yeah.
guild hall, your everything. What's that gonna do to somebody that's not exactly the most sane? What is that gonna do to somebody that's just like not mentally prepared for the political nature of Ashes of Creation, not mentally prepared for how hardcore and potentially, dare I say, infuriating this game can be. I think it's gonna bring out the worst in people. I think it's gonna, in some cases, obviously, still bring out the best in people. But I think the way these systems are designed, it's bred in conflict. I think we're looking at some. I think we're looking at some potential angry people. Is the short version of
Yeah.
what I'm saying, to say the least. What up,
Yeah.
Jamie?
So I would say, so I got a story for you, Nyce, in chat, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible, but it's a wild one. And it got updated today, which is why it's coming to my head. So anyways, a lot of you guys know I used to play the Elder Scrolls Online on Xbox. I stopped playing on Xbox back in like 2020, 2021. I mean, Nyce, you know this. We basically went to PC around the same time. It didn't work on console anymore. And we're just like, dude, like either we're playing on PC, we're probably not playing. And so that's just the way it was. So I haven't played on Xbox in like 3 or 4 years. And so this time last year, it was actually the 4th of July. I remember this. I posted this on my channel. Somebody at like 3 a.m. on my channel was calling me like a cheater and a hacker and like an Xbox like piece of shit and stuff. And I'm like, I'm looking at this. I'm like, this man was up all night, probably, engaged with alcoholic beverages, and his thought was to come to my channel to talk shit about a game I haven't played on that platform at that point in time in like 2 or 3 years. And I was like, this is really weird. And so I didn't think anything of it. I posted and I was like, I hope you have a good day. I hope you had a good night. And he commented and he's like, you're a piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, it's one of these. So I ignored it and I went about my day. And I also have a Discord with a bunch of ESO players, and like 2 to 3 months later, somebody posted this random guy on in Xbox chats. He's like, hey man, he's like, are you playing ESO on Xbox? And I was like, no, I'm not. Why? And he goes, well, there's somebody out there that's playing EP that has like the exact same name as you, and they're claiming to be you. And I was like, oh, that's not me. That's really interesting. And he pulls up some chat logs and he's like, I'm no one else, and I have all the cheats in the game, and I'm the biggest cheater. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. I was like, no, that's not me, man. Yeah. Like I don't play EP, but I'm not, that's not me. And then I had a guy, a content creator on YouTube, message me and he goes, hey man, he goes, this was like a month after these things were happening. He's like, hey man, he goes, I had a really good time playing Battlegrounds with you yesterday. I had a great time playing Battlegrounds with you. I just wanted to let you know I uploaded a new build. I want you to go check. I hope you go check it out because you're in it. And I just wanted to say, like, I really love what you're doing. And I was like, I appreciate that, man. But I'm not playing ESO, and I'm not I'm not on Xbox. And I was like, is this person like pretending to be me? And he's like, yeah, he said he was you, and he's like doing this stuff. And I was like, well, that's really weird. And so I was like, oh, it's the same person. And then one of my good friends, Blap, got a message from this same account, and he goes, and the guy messaged Blap, and he goes, hey man, he goes, what's that set we've always been running that's like super OP? Like he thought that he could change his name and like put a those fake glasses, mustache, nose costumes. Like he thought he was gonna do that and like somehow get like some sort of super secret build. And so he messaged Blap asking this.
That's dedicated.
Yeah, I'm going as fast as possible. Like I'm trying to speed things up, but this is everything that's happened. And like 2 months after that, somebody messages my channel and they post on like some random Ashes of Creation video. And they're like, hey man, like you're a piece of shit. And it's like some guy's name. And I didn't know who it was. And I was like, okay. Yeah. I was like, what did I do? And he's like, I found you. I've doxed you. He's like, you're James, this person from Texas. And he's like, I've gotten you. I know who you are now. And I'm like, yeah, man, you totally got me. Like, what am I going to do now? Like, I'm playing along. Like, I don't know what that, like, I don't know if he's trolling me or like if he's serious or whatever. Like, I'm trying to figure stuff out. And he's like, I just want to let you know that you're just the biggest piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. And he's going off on me. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I saw the name and I realized that the person that's been talking shit to me on YouTube is the same guy on Xbox that has had my name and is pretending to be me. And so the 4th of July thing and this guy it's the same person as the person that's been impersonating me on Xbox for the last 3 years that I have not been playing on this platform. And he's like talking about how like I copied his haircut and like I'm a bad person and all this other sorts of things.
That's scary.
Yeah, and so when I realized this, I'm like, okay, I gotta block this guy because this is fucking weird. Like I thought it was two random people doing two random things, but it's the same person on two different platforms connected, being this weird, right? And so this happened, like this ended in January. I've told Nyce's story. This happened in January. Today, my good friend Blap, who streams ESO, he messaged me and he got DMs from somebody. And the DM said, let me go in and I'll get him. He said, bro, I drop you on your head, you catfish stalker, which is what he called me. And then he wrote, mute me because you're literally scared of me in real life. And he goes, run your mouth. I'm coming for Frank, which is, he said, I'm Frank. And so,
Yeah.
So he said, I'm coming for Frank. You're going to get what you retards have been talking yourselves into. I don't talk, like, I haven't, like, all this is happening and I'm just existing, man. And so this is on ESO on a platform I've been playing like 3 or 4 years. And this guy is like still doing his thing. And I'm like, and you know, I see like somebody fly down and beat somebody with a hammer, and I'm like, man, is this gonna in my future? Am I getting like in real life PvP here in my future? I don't know.
That takes a special level of hate and dedication.
I've never talked
And
to
obviously
him, man.
that's the same situation with this Arcade guy, right? It had to be something, whether he was like a confused individual like your guy, or if it was like a real legitimate beef, like this guy was actually talking crap. And that's the funny thing about the two different situations. These two guys probably knew each other and was actual beef, whereas your situation is like, you're insane. But it goes to show you how crazy people can, like, ego wounds. It goes to show you how crazy people can be online, and they want to carry that. They actually want to carry that over and threaten you IRL.
Yeah.
That's.
So the only interaction I ever had with this guy, he used to like talk shit to my two friends, and so I knew about him before I ever encountered him. The only time I encountered him, I didn't 1v2 him. So he had like a ganker friend. I killed his friend and I was like out of resources from surviving being ganked. And like he ended up killing me after I killed his friend. And he messaged me and he's like, hey man, he goes, I really enjoy your content. And I was like, you know, I'm just not going to engage with somebody like this because like he's literally gotten into shit talking conversations with everybody I've encountered. So I just was like, I just ignored him. And so ever since I ignored him, he like uploaded the clip to like ESO Exposed and a bunch of other stuff. And it was like, that's the only interaction I had outside of my YouTube stuff. And literally I never even talked shit to him for like 4 years. And then when I saw the latest stuff, I'm like, dude, you need help. And I was like, you need help. I'm just gonna block you. But yeah, like that's ESO. That's not like always on PvP. There's no corruption system. You don't actually lose gear and stuff like that.
It's hard to be personal. ESO.
Exactly. And so it's like when you add more personal things to a game like Ashes, like it makes you think, right?
And Sandy said, remember kids, take your prescribed meds on time or you just might hallucinate that Frank wants the smoke 24/7 for 4 years. Yes. Galwood says, I could foresee guilds falling apart because some officers stole the GM's girlfriend. I've seen it happen, and in Ashes, they will all be stuck on the same server together. Yeah. Jamie says, to be fair, they're probably unhinged and no matter what they play in. Yeah. Like, it's actually... It's mind-boggling for that story to come from ESO. Because like we said, there's no personal ties. You're not really... like, no one can take anything from you, per se. Except for emperorship, I guess. But that's not something people are personally connected to. Like, Ashes of Creation, you can lose your housing, bro. Like we know how serious MMO players are about housing. I think everybody in this chat knows how serious housing means. The true end game of housing. Go to somebody on an MMO right now that's into housing and tell them like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna do this PvP objective based thing, and you know, once we win, that's gonna cause you to lose your home. And tell that to a person. There's gonna be so much drama. Yes,
Yep.
like the concept of that is will really um some people are going to get attached is all I'm going to say. Imagine you're role playing as Becky the farmer and you got your freehold, you got your 4 cows, your 19 chickens, you're growing hay on this side of the freehold, and you don't PvP, you don't bother nobody, you're not even in a guild. It's just you, your husband, one of your kids, your 2 high school best friends, and y'all just sit out on this freehold role playing, you do a couple of dungeons. You don't attack no caravans or nothing like that. You just minding your business.
Yeah.
And then freaking Jamie Chaos rolls through and him and his big mean guild declares war and attacks your node siege, and they come steamroll and loot your freehold. They murder all your cows, like they fry your chickens.
Not the
Like
chickens, man. Not
yeah,
the
dip them in
chickens.
sauce and all that. They dip them in sauce and
Unbelievable.
and that's gonna affect those kind of players, those true RPers that are dedicated to their characters, their in-game lifestyles and all that. Yeah. Andy Lay says, "I'm gonna steal your freehold, Nice. Gotta breed my animals." Man, I think people are gonna be attached.
Yeah.
See, yeah, it definitely is something he would do.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like, okay, in-game messages, it's whatever. Like, it's all fictional. It's all pixels. I think my big conclusion on all this is, guys, is like, I know this sounds crazy to say, but after everything that I've seen and read this week, it's like pixels don't matter. Like they don't matter. It's fucking pixels, guys. And so like the amount of obsession that some people get to this, it's really interesting behavior, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ashes as it gets down the road, because I love the idea of Ashes of Creation. I love how competitive it's going to be. I love how it's going to incorporate teamwork, and people are going to get really upset in the moment. And I mean, hopefully nobody throws their lives away over some nonsense. And so, yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
And he says it's about the time invested. And yeah, we spend a lot of times leveling things, getting things gathered in an MMO. And if Ashes of Creation is as difficult to level in, and if acquiring a freehold is as difficult as they say it is,
Mm-hmm.
and you threaten someone and you take that away, or you're the cause of that being taken away, like you can only imagine what's going to come out of that. Like the thing is with games, like say it's bad RNG you're worrying about, say it's this that you're worrying about, whatever. Like at least once you get it, you got it, right? No one can
Yeah.
take that from you. Like, except for those of you that's played full loop PvP games, obviously will have a different perspective. You're going to be a little bit more built for that, right? But yeah, games are for fun. It's just like it's just next level. Censor says, I'm gonna be a rogue gatherer, so I'm gonna be flying out of bushes on people, taking my rocks and trees. I'll probably have a lot of beef, unfortunately, but I can't help myself. I am like we saw the group of rangers. I said this before, but we saw that group of rangers kill that guy instantly, lining up snipes or whatever. I think a group of rogues, man, a group of rogues that's willing to go corrupted or just pop out of nowhere and wreck you, there's gonna be a guild of all rogues. You know that. Hell,
Oh yeah.
there's a guild literally specific for dwarf clerics. There is gonna be somewhere for everybody. And the one that scares me is the freaking assassins for hire, a freaking guild of rogues. Like they're gonna definitely get a certain reputation. The Copium Clinic says, bro, pixels matter. The effect these pixels have on your body's physiology is crazy. Tarkov
Well,
players stand up. Yeah.
sounds like a 20-minute copium clinic video on how pixels actually get incorporated into the human body over time. And
Yes. I need to know the science behind that.
yeah.
Like, I need to know the effect on the human brain and why Ashes of Creation is going to drive people insane. Like, why it's going to get them so invested. I intend to find a all rogues guild and be kind of a mercenary spy. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it'd be
like,
fun.
dude, the espionage. You know, there's gonna be espionage in this game. There's so much guild drama. I wouldn't be surprised right now if there's not already plants inside of some people's guilds. like
Yeah.
people that's there just to like get the inside track on their strategies, what server they're gonna join, all that stuff, like just to really go like some guilds are going that hard.
Yeah.
Bro, I saw Envious go hard on a Stone and Liberty 1 week test beta.
Yeah.
Pinging every 30 minutes, be here, level up here. We need this many tanks. We need this. We need to go siege this guy. I'm like, bro, this stuff won't matter in 1 week. Y'all are going hard, but it's good practice for them, right? They're getting
Yeah.
prepared for actual launches. They're trying to like get this embedded. Like, okay, who can we depend on? Who's going to show up? They are going to go hard. Like, people talked about having like spies just planted all over the world map and like they're like these guilds are bro, these guilds go hard. Like some of these hardcore guilds, there's like serious guilds, there's competitive guilds, and then there's what I'm gonna put on another tier as like we're just gonna call them go hard guilds. Like they
Yeah.
are the dedicated go hard, this matters, guild meetings every 3 hours. I need you on call. Forget your pregnant wife over there, bro. We have a castle siege at 6. Figure it out. Hire a sitter. I'll d- like yeah. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all. The no lifer
So
guilds. Yeah.
on top of that, Nyce, I wanted to explain like a very well known behavior. Copium Clinic will probably like this, but have you ever played Risk before? I know you've seen
I
it.
haven't.
Okay.
I've heard you talk about it a lot. But yeah, I've seen it.
So Risk is a great game, and I want to explain this behavior because you're gonna get a kick out of it. This is like very well, like it happens all the time. But like, let's say there's 4 people. The entire goal of Risk, guys, is like you have troops on a world map, and your entire goal is to take over the world. So like some like Pinky in the Brain shit, like take over the world all the time. It's great. And what happens is you have like different battlefronts. So if there's 4 people, oftentimes you'll be fighting 1 or 2 people, and like you'll see some people, and you'll try to stay out of their way, right? Like you don't want to fight the same people all the time. And on these table games, you'll have your table captain, the guy that's like basically they're in front and they're trying to make sure nobody catches up troop wise. So if anybody's doing something that could get close, he's going to be the one that's going to take control and like, you know, go knock them down a peg, right? And so establish dominance. And then you have players that are like they didn't get the proper footing and like they're a step back and they got to wait their turn and they got to bide their time. And that's where I was in like one of the latest games. It's like I got to bide my time. I got to wait. And this table captain is just attacking these other 2 people. I'm like, I'm just going to stay out of the way. I'm going to just ignore my time. And what happens is people kind of get this predisposition point of view to where they get attacked by the same people over and over again. And although it's constantly happening, it's happening so much that like they built up like an insensitivity to it. They're just like, okay, this is just what's going to happen. This guy's going to do this. And what happens is when the second person or the third person that's been staying out of the way all of a sudden attacks one of these people, they go into a blind rage. Like, okay, I'm used to these guys attacking me, but now you're attacking me? Screw you. And they go
going on.
Yeah, and they go nuclear on that person. Like, so this other person's been attacking him like 10, 15, 20 times. Don't care. You take one thing from them, they lose their mind and they'll just sacrifice all their troops on you. Just blow themselves up because they're like, no, screw this. Like, this was my break. This one thing was my breaking point. And you had nothing to do with like the 0 to 99. You were just the one that ticked it to 100.
That's dude, I'm just sitting here thinking about the political stuff. Even and by the way, chat, we're gonna talk about launch.
Oh, yeah.
He said I need a no one video on that. Yes, that that actually would be a fun video.
I'll have to get a game recorded for it because it happens quite a bit.
We're not talking about launch. Like, I think we're gonna see this stuff in alpha too. I don't think guilds wait until launch to take it seriously or establish their node and declare guild wars, get into beef. No, this alpha 2, it's already gonna start. By the way, I'm not even talking about launch. Launch is probably gonna be a whole nother beast. You know, guilds coming in from other games and whatnot, more people and such. I mean, and he says, tell her to hold that baby in, right?
I mean, Nyce. It's like, what? I'm not going to name names, but you know the Discord Ashes of Creation guy that randomly brings up 1vx and how he's going to destroy all 1vxers. There's already people like creating their own inner battles before Alpha 2 even comes out.
There's
like
already beef.
They already got their demons they want to fight in the game. Like even Alpha 2 isn't even here yet. So
man, there's gonna be some names that recognize me on this off Discord, or I recognize them from Discord. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's gonna be like you're the one that disagreed with me in that argument, huh? Temujin says I was in a no lifer guild and it burned me out. It was a second job. Yeah, see, I can't do that.
yeah,
I couldn't do that. Like, I know one thing of like if we, hey, no, go, no, go now. Like, I know one thing, like if we come up with a guild, it's not like obviously you're gonna want to be competitive, you're gonna want to win, you're gonna want to accomplish things. But one thing I said is like if we came up with it, if we started a guild, it's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be, I guess you can use the term casual, because like it's gonna be like small scale, not crazy large, and it's not gonna be like,
yeah.
oh, you gotta be at this guild meeting, and oh, you gotta do this, or you need to do this for me, or that stuff is like way too much. Like I got a whole family. You guys just heard me talking to my kids just now. You think I'm gonna be dealing with those kids right there? I was just talking to,
I got
and then
7
you're gonna be
kids, 3
pinging me.
dogs.
Yeah, just two, okay. But you think I'm gonna be dealing with that, and then you pinging me on Discord like, bro, why wasn't you at the meeting? Or bro, we needed you during that node war. I'm like, I don't got time for your shit today.
Yeah,
My kid
I'm
needs
on when
my,
I'm on.
we're out of milk, and your ass is chewing me out for missing a node war. I don't got time for this. I'm a grown ass man. I don't got time for this. Hell no, that's I can't do it. I just can't do it. So yeah,
SB3
okay.
SB3 over here says LMAO making enemies early. Dude, there are some people. So the guy, I just want to explain this one brief part. There's a guy on the forums, he wrote, on day 1 of Alpha 2, all the 1vxers need to come over and fight my group, and we're going to teach you what's up. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading and I'm like, oh, so you're going to give us what we want, like an XV1 situation? Like, you understand that like this isn't something we dislike. Like, if we lose a lot. Like, this is what we enjoy. And it was just kind of funny how people, yeah, it was just really funny. Like, oh, we're going to teach you a lesson. Like, okay, man, like you got what you want. I got what I want. Like,
brags about outnumbering someone and winning. Yeah. The odds are in my favor. Watch this. I'll show you, like, you're supposed to win that fight.
We're gonna attack you with 10 people, and it's gonna be one of you. Let's see how good you like it. It's like, okay, man, like sounds good to me.
Job. You won. Good job.
It's what I want. It's what I've been playing for 6 years. Like, okay, sounds good.
This is such a weird mentality. Sale says guild have to be like that in Alpha 2 or else the game in its essence won't be tested. AOC is supposed to be the Far West, not the Love Bears. J-Rock says, and there will be beef that starts in Alpha 2 and carry over to launch. Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm waiting for the first real guild beef. I don't think Ashes of Creation, I mean, the game's not out yet, right, chat? Viral says I'm flexing my 10v1. The game's not out yet, but I'm waiting for the first big beef. You go, I'm not talking like, oh, this no-name guild we never heard of with 20 members is having issues with Axiom or whatever. I'm waiting for like 2 known guilds, like these big guilds, like guilds that we've interviewed on the show or that, you know, are known in the community, been vocal and such. I'm like waiting for the first...
Like Dunier, like the Dunier guild, hypothetically, and then like DA's guild. Like big guilds like that.
Envious and Dunier get beef and they go at it, and you're just seeing all the friction in Discord, you're seeing the friction on the forums, you're seeing the friction in Reddit, you're seeing the guild wars and the node wars being declared. Like, I'm ready for that in-game beef. I tried to instigate one in Ashes of Creation guild chat Discord one day. I bet you did.
I bet you did.
I was bored, man. I was like, damn. And it was funny because it was 2 guys like arguing, or they were even like serious. No, they actually, I think they were kind of like serious. They was having a back and forth, and I noticed that 2 of them had like guild tags. One was Envious, and I don't remember the other one. But I was like, Envious and blah 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 beef war, like, oh my gosh, guild drama, and they just wouldn't bite. They just wouldn't
They
bite. I'm
didn't
like,
take your
"Oh, God,
bait.
you guys are boring." Yeah, I was like,
Unbelievable.
I need to work on my instigating because I just wanted a guild war declared before Alpha 2. But silly me for trying to provide the people with content, I guess. I was gonna bring them on
Really,
to have like a debate, like a Ashes of Creation debate, them just yelling at each other over a game that doesn't exist on our stream. They wouldn't do it.
you're you're really putting a test to that Nyce Gaming moniker, aren't you? Like
Yeah,
just
I
go.
mean, but hey, nice game becomes board gaming, and sometimes I just
Yeah.
want to see people argue. Sometimes I don't
Instigation
know,
gaming. I'm gonna start some
man.
shit gaming.
It would be great if they had guild message boards for people trying to catch up on missed meetings. True. His group's
Oh,
gonna get
absolutely.
hit with sleep and then get blown up. Yes, we gotta hit them with some coordinated stuff. The
Sleep
thing I'm most
pots.
excited about in this game is Lacari level beef videos on YouTube. His OG BDO stuff was so good. I can't wait. Man, you think Ashes of Creation is gonna have exposed videos and stuff?
Oh,
ESO was so
absolutely.
corny for that, but you know it's happening. Like, you know it's
Dude,
happening. Someone beats someone in a someone's gonna beat me in a duel, and because they look at me as some popular content creator, like Nice Gaming exposed. Like, aren't you supposed to be good because you do videos on the internet? Take that, scrub. Like, come on.
it's gonna be even funnier in Ashes with hard counters, where like they know what your setup is because you posted it on
Yeah.
YouTube, and they run the
hmm
hard counter, and then they expose you, and you're just like, okay, like,
Like, all right, buddy.
congrats.
I hope that was worth it. That meant a lot to you.
Oh, it's guys. So you don't know this, but when there was a point in time where exposed drama like existed solely on PlayStation. Like there was no other platform that was doing it. It was just PlayStation videos back and forth of like 6 or 7 different content creators posting
Oh,
killing
man.
this one guy like 10 times, then the other one would post killing that person like 10 times. It's like, okay, so you
Yeah.
guys are like equally skilled. Like what
Yeah.
I'm seeing is
They
you're
don't include the
equally skilled.
losses. Yeah. They don't include the losses. Like, oh, I caught this person slipping in Cyrodiil. Better post it. And then there's always some dramatic rap video, some
Oh
Chief
yeah.
Keef music,
Yeah, some Chief
like
Keef.
some hardcore thug music as you use your freaking elf in a freaking MMORPG. Your elf did more magic damage than his, and you got this hardcore rap in the background. Like, come on, bro, go outside. Like, yeah, it's I never understood it. I never understood it. Teabag and go about your way, I guess. Are we gonna create a guild too? I don't even know. We may. We may. It's not something we're going hard with right now, like a lot of guilds. But it's something we may look into. We're gonna look at the scope, get the feel of Ashes of Creation. Maybe we join one, maybe we start one.
Yeah.
We're definitely not gonna be a large scale, like 500 deep. Like, I don't care if Ashes of Creation blows up and we become popular. We're not gonna have a freaking army of people. Like, we like small scale PvP. But to me, Ashes of Creation seems like one of those games that like it leans itself towards guild relations, who having numbers. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean you got to run around 10 to 20 deep all the time, but you want to have some sort of social organization. And so I think having a guild or being in a guild is just smart. So whether we find a guild that fits us or all these guild interview series that how we give guild leaders the opportunity to
Yeah.
come on the show and talk about their guild. That's not us doing content. That's just us like, don't convince us to join your guild.
Yeah.
That's what it really is, chat. I'll be honest. That's what it's really for.
Yeah, it's fun because I totally understand where people are coming from. Like we obviously have channels where a lot of players are like-minded like us, and they're curious if like, are we going to play in the same way we played in other games? And yeah, like from my perspective, the answer is yes. Like I'm not against making a guild or helping work towards a guild, but like Nyce said, we don't know how many people we're going to need. We don't know like what small scale is. Like, maybe we can get the type of fun that we want playing with 5 people or 4 people, or maybe it's 10. Like we have no idea the scale that we're going to want for the amount of fun that we have. And the last thing Nyce or I want to do is all of a sudden open up this huge guild where it's too many players, and then it's like, we're not playing with you guys, and it's like it's a big guild, but we're not actually functioning like a guild, and it's just it wouldn't be good for you guys. It wouldn't be good for us either if we didn't have a guild functioning properly. And so we're going to get an alpha 2, we're going to test, and we're going to figure out like, okay, do we want to actually take on this type of challenge, or are we going to do more of like a join another guild that has like-minded points of view, and like we just and get our fun that way. And so we'll know more then, and if we do make a guild, we'll do like I'm sure we'll do an official announcement of what it is, kind of like what not Loreforge just did. Loreforge just announced their guild and like what they're doing and everything. We can do an official announcement and everything once we know more, but I don't know anything yet. So
You know what would be cool, and I just thought about this, like a guild that doesn't have a lot of people and it's almost like exclusive. It's
yeah,
like a guild, you don't see them like having their own node. You don't see them running everything 50 deep, controlling the map. But when you see them, you respect them like, oh, that's one of the blah blah blah. There's only like 30 to 50 of us, and it's a pretty exclusive thing. Like you gotta be of a certain skill level or whatever, or be under our protection to get in it. And it's like, okay, they don't, they're not, 250 deep for a freaking node siege or something, but like
yeah,
really good small scale, you see us and it's like, okay, we're like basically the Spartans from 300, something
yeah,
like to that extent. I think that'd
yeah,
be a cool concept as well.
yeah,
But yeah, if we do a guild, we don't want it to just be like a content creator guild, if that makes sense. Like, oh, you
yeah,
guys are just here to bring us lumber and
yeah,
and we don't actually interact and do stuff, and so
yeah,
we'll figure all that up as things go. I know it's smarter to do that stuff right now, like a lot of you guys are doing, but it's just like we're gonna see. They may
yeah,
we may even find a guild that already identifies with what we want, and or maybe we do a subsection of another guild, like we're part of this guild, but technically like a different branch or alliance. There's so many
yeah,
possibilities, so nothing
yeah.
is stone.
Well, like, I mean, look at ESO for instance, right? There's I posted this video on my channel a long time ago, but we randomly got 9 people to play together, and it was like 9 of the best players on the server. And so it was like, okay, like we're gonna play. Are we really running 9 deep? And everybody's like, yeah, fuck it. Like we normally run 2 or 3 people. Let's just go kill everybody. And it's like, all right, sounds good. So that's what we decided to do one night. And when you have 9 people of that type of level, it's like, yeah, you're taking on the server. And so we like those were the only types of fun fights we could have, is if we could find the big guilds like in Cyrodiil. And so we were taking on like 9 on 30s, 9, like just whoever would show up and just trying to take on as big of fights as possible. And I know I know you, Nyce, and I'm going to be the exact same way. Like I want to get those types of fun fights with the least amount of people possible.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
and so if we start adding more people and we're just steamrolling, it's not fun for us. It's not fun for the server. It's boring. Like it's just
Yeah.
not like that's not something I want to do. And we won't know
Yeah.
until we get into the game.
Like even if 10 people is considered, like you never know, 10 people can be
Yeah.
considered like a minimal amount, and then but we pull off a 10v30 and it just looks freaking epic. We got
Yeah.
1 bard, 2 clerics, the rest of us are DPS. Maybe we got 1 tank in the mix, and then we pull off with our outnumbered group. And even though it's 10 of us, we take out a large guild of 30. Like
30,
stuff like
40,
that.
50. Yeah.
Like we don't know how the game works. We don't know how combat works. We don't know TTK. There's so many factors, chat. There's so many. The Chaos and Lace Guild, I like those guys. I like those guys. Speaking of which, so we have like if you guys aren't aware, the stream was pushed to this upcoming Wednesday. I think it's July 3rd. This
Yeah.
upcoming Wednesday is the next stream going over server mesh, which by the way, we'll get on subject with that here shortly.
Yeah.
We have Richie SH joining us for that post-stream feedback and analysis. So that's gonna be a fun time. I'll do a community post here soon. So we have that. We have Richie Wednesday. And then on our normal day, the Tuesday, so the Tuesday after that Wednesday, I think that would be the 9th, we have Chaos and Lace joining us. Andy Lace and Jamie Chaos from the Tangents of Creation. They will be joining us, which will be awesome.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun month, and then we will have some more guild interviews lined up throughout the month, and it's gonna be a good one. And I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling about this upcoming stream, chat. I gotta call it a hunch. Just call it a hunch, but I got a good feeling we're gonna see some. We're gonna either maybe get some news or something's gonna be announced. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So going off of
Maybe
that,
Jamie streams shirtless that day. Who knows?
maybe he does.
Maybe he does.
Muscles in chat goes, are they going to announce a month next week? So I want to be clear. I have no information. I don't know. I think they're going to. I'm still going to stand pat on that. I still think that we're going to get a month announcement for Alpha 2 in the next live stream. And if I'm wrong, you guys can see us on Wednesday and you could be like, hey, dude, remember when you were wrong? And I'm like, yeah, fuck.
Hey,
but yeah.
I'm the Valoon guy, remember? Oh, we're gonna see a Valoon. The evidence points to it.
But I think it makes sense for them to at least announce the month. I'm expecting at least the month, but who knows? The way I look at it is if I was in Intrepid's shoes, and I'm obviously not, if you went to the end of July, the first month of quarter 3, without providing an announcement for what month it's going to be, I think you'd get a lot of blowback from the community in a negative way. And I would just personally like try to avoid that. And so I would get out ahead and make the announcement early and be like, hey guys, Alpha 2's in August, September, whatever. That's the month. We'll narrow down the date when we get there, but it's definitely going to be that month. And that way you don't go through July and you have, every single conspiracy theorist going, man, is it even going to be in quarter 3? What if it's not until 2025? Like, is this game even coming out? Like, just avoid all that entirely and just announce the month.
Yeah. It's got to be something. We got there's a couple of potential things. There's we get a month, we get a full date, we get an announcement for Alpha 1 spot testing, we get an announcement for the character creator, we get an announcement for the content creator program. There's it's got to be one of those things this month, right? Just time scale, consider how much time we got left. I'm with you, like entering July. Alpha 2 is September at the latest. That means we have, after this tech stream, let's see, we got the July stream, August stream, maybe a September stream. We got 2 to 3 left. One of those is the Bard. So you got a potential of 2 streams left. 2 months. People need time to request off of work, get things organized. They need to get things organized. They need to set up Alpha 1 spot testing to make sure these servers are ready for everything. There's a lot of factors to take into account.
Yes.
So yeah, all that. Yeah, the Valoons were just hiding in the desert. Definitely. That's
I
what
still
I'm
think
going
you were
with.
right. That was a good theory.
Yeah. Where was somebody said they'll either give a day or, knock on wood, a delay. There's no, man, I ain't gonna say there's no way that we get a delay. I don't see it happen. I'll say this again. I don't think a delay is possible. I think they'll release Alpha 2, even if there's not a crazy amount of content for us to do.
Yeah.
I think the only way they delay it is if the servers, it's got to be a networking or server issue if they delay Alpha 2. Like, okay, we brought in Alpha 1 spot testers, or we brought in PI, or we brought in this game testing thing, because they do their own internal testing. They hire companies to test the game. That we got 200 people on the server and things were just laggy, performance was just bad. Thus, we're gonna have to upgrade our servers, and that'll delay us about 1 to 2 months. That's the only thing. They're not gonna delay it like, Clarfin doesn't have enough tower, or you guys are gonna run out of content after 4 days. They won't delay it because it's a test, and they've kind of subverted expectations lately, of course, to let us know, like, and remind us, like, hey, this is just an Alpha 2 test, right? So I think that's the only thing that could cause a delay, personally.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely not a delay, Jamie. That's what I'm thinking.
I've stood pat that I don't think there's going to be a delay. I don't think they come up with quarter 3 unless they thought it could be ready in quarter 2 and quarter 3. Like I've said this before. We don't need to dive into that again. But I will say I will agree with this poster in that we will get an update, in my opinion, on it. I don't think there's going to be a delay, but either we're going to get the month or a delay this month. It would be silly not to. It'd be silly not to like have an update on where the date is before you get into quarter 3. And so that would be my perspective. So and they very well might not care. They're just like, you know what, we'll announce the date when we get to the date. There's plenty of months in quarter 3. That's just what I would do if I were them, because I would avoid all the hassle. But maybe they're like me and they also kind of want to see the world burn and see all the different crackpot theories that come forward. I get that too. Like it's gonna be really funny if they don't announce something. It's gonna be really funny. So.
VM says that mage sleep spell that AOC showcase should remind me of the Bard AoE mez. Even the sound was the exact same, looked OP. Yeah, that skill's gonna be in a coordinated group. That mage sleep is gonna be ridiculous, especially if you're trying to run away. Say you and 2 mages are blinking and trying to run away from these fighters gap closing on you. You turn around, do an AoE sleep, and just don't hit him and just keep running. And then yes, it has a 30-second cooldown, but what if your other mage has it available? And you guys are just rotating them. Like you can probably troll. I don't know. I mean, there's gonna be CC breaks and whatnot, but yeah. Um, if we let's just pretend it's July 1st, just so it's easier to picture in your brain, chat. It's if it's July 1st and we know Alpha 2 is in September, that's that's 2 months, man. Like, and there's still so much to do. Character creator, Alpha 1. I mean, see, I said Alpha 1. Alpha 1 spot testers, that is. Like, things are going to ramp up here. You guys are going to see things ramp up here. We can't say too much. I think July is going to be big. July is going to be big. July is going to be a big month for all of us. July is going to be a huge month.
Guys, he's
So
hinting
just
something
stay
here.
strong.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. July is going to be huge. I think you guys will get a lot of fun news here soon. I can't say much more than that, but you guys will get a lot of fun news here in July. I see and else was telling me that a lot of people in the main Discord and everybody's like losing faith, and everybody's like, dude, oh, the game's gonna be delayed and this and that, and it's crazy that the closer we finally have a time frame / date, and people are getting more doomium, they're getting more doubtful about the project. It's like, bro, you're willing to wait 7 years, and this last 2 months is where you're giving up hope. This is where you draw the line with everything they've shown you recently and how close you are. This is where you're going to draw the line and start losing hope. Just being all sad, like, well, what this isn't real, and this is going to be delayed. The desert isn't real, or somebody even said they need to delay Alpha 2 because of Throne and Liberty's launch and New World's launch. What is wrong with people? Like, what is wrong with people? Like, you can't make this up. Like, we're so close. This game that we've been waiting to test, not even a game. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I'm super PR friendly. We've been waiting for this test for so long. And people want to delay. They want to say the game isn't real. They want to say Intrepid isn't being transparent enough. They don't believe Steven is sick. They don't believe that More Than a Riverlands exists. They don't, like, there's so much crazy doomium I've seen in the last 2 weeks. And I'm just like, y'all need to go outside. Y'all need a hobby. Y'all need I'm sorry, I'm about to go on a rant. I can feel it.
Yeah,
y'all need to find a game to play. Y'all need to find a way to kill time. And this is not me being mean. This is not me talking about a specific person for sure. This is just me, because this applies to so many people. You guys, I'm a content creator. I want my focus to be Ashes of Creation. I consider myself an Ashes of Creation content creator. That's my main focus. If you guys look at the videos on my channel, I play other games. I'm killing time. I have a waiting room. I love the Elder Scrolls Online. I stream that game. I play that game. I'm having a good time. It's making time fly by to Alpha 2 like go well. I suggest everyone that's on this Doomium and just staring at their calendar, find a different game to play. No, I'm not saying it's as good as Ashes of Creation. I'm not saying the MMO genre is in the perfect place. Go play Elden Ring, bro. Like, I post Ashes of Creation, I'll post a freaking New World video. Hell, I've been posting Elden Ring all last week. I'm just killing time. I'm having fun.
Yep.
I'm just letting Intrepid cook, and I am minding my business. These people that sit around with nothing but AOC on the brain, it's not good for you. You need to go outside, play a game, different game, stream a different other game. Find something to occupy your brain and stop letting those intrusive thoughts win. We're so close to Alpha 2. This is not the time for the community to start losing faith. This is where Intrepid, this is where the AOC community needs us to band together and just like wait it out a little bit longer. I promise you. Let me say that loosely. I can almost guarantee you that something good is around the corner. Your patience is about to pay off. Like, why be a freaking hype man in June? Why be a freaking hype man in January of 2022 through the rest of 23? Like, oh my gosh, this is the game. I can't wait. Oh, this is the game for me. This is going to be my last MMO. And then they give you a freaking Q2 announcement, which is September at the latest. And then you're going to wait for them to start being like, I don't know about this one. Looking like a scam. We need to probably delay this, or this is getting delayed. This is a scam. Why?
Yeah.
What is wrong with people? You know what? The short version of my rant is go outside.
So I'm glad you said that again. SB3 over here said, Nyce said, go outside, not a true gamer. True. 100%. Stay inside playing all games. No, I'm gonna go on the rant with you as well, Nyce, because it's just kind of funny because you know what it reminds me of, like in real life situation is, have you ever had that like really clingy girlfriend or friend that just like they look for everything negative that could potentially happen in a situation? It's like, guys, this isn't how you cultivate healthy relationships. Like, even if you think this, like, stressing about every single possible thing that could go wrong all the time isn't healthy for you. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, if hypothetically, and I don't believe it, but if it's delayed, then it's delayed. Like, play something else. Like Nyce said, Shadow of the Erdtree is freaking phenomenal. It is so good. Play something else. This game's not going to come out for a few years now. It's okay. Like, we don't have, like, nothing is going to be made or broken off of whatever happens in the next year of this game. That was a conversation that was happening in the Discord today. People talking about, well, it's bad optics for where the game is at right now, and it's like, guys, it's Alpha 2. It's pre-Alpha 2. Like, nobody is going to, like, their entire goal right now is to test the systems of the game. They don't care what the optics are. They're trying to make a good game. It's two completely different things, and so. I don't know. I agree. Like, we're getting close and people are getting more amped up, and it's like, guys, just relax. It's nice outside. It's nice. Let's
Man, Grux says Dark and Darker has been a delight for me. Nice. Censor says buy Game Pass and 2 months will fly by. Yeah, it's just like the Doomium. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't take me out of context. I'm not saying it's wrong to criticize
absolutely.
Ashes of Creation. Criticism is fine and sometimes even warranted, right? That's not what this is saying. What we're saying, like, but there's a fine line between being skeptical and, providing criticism, and then full on conspiracy tinfoil hat doomium. Like, my gosh, like, go outside until they tell you something else. We got this game coming in Q3. We got the MMO that we've been waiting on. Don't rush them. You're already tired of the games that you're currently playing. Don't rush them. It's just, yeah.
Fiddles goes, it's nice outside, but nice isn't outside. It's a good point. That's a good point.
If I'm considering taking the PC outside the game just so I can get some sunlight.
Planendorf says, what's the conspiracy mill saying? Yeah, so the welcome in, Planendorf. It's been a few things that I've seen. It's just been kind of funny, but it's like, I think where it's coming from is because of the lack of information that's been going on. Just like not knowing a date yet, which is it's fine by me, but because people don't know, it's like their craziest imagination is going wild, and it's like, oh, it's a scam, it's not working, it's not gonna come out, and if it does come out, like, nobody's gonna play the game because it's not what it is as advertised, and it's like, guys, like, let's just relax a little bit. It's crazy.
It's just interesting that it's so close to Alpha 2 launch.
Yeah.
And we're seeing good progress. These monthly showcases have been amazing, right? Like, we just got this Node War showcase. It showed a little PvP. It showed meaningful PvP. It showed systems. It showed a large amount of people in one area. And we're getting these good showcases and good news. They're still communicating as much as they ever have. And the conspiracy theories and the doomium is just like, what is happening with some of you guys? Like, what is going on? Like, take a step back and relax. Like,
it's like they're emotionally hedging. Yeah, it's like they're emotionally hedging. Like, this is the game I've been waiting for, and I'm so excited for this game. But now I need to emotionally hedge for getting let down, and I'm gonna say it's a scam so I could, like, talk myself off the lead. It's so weird, man. I don't understand why it's happening now. It's so weird.
Bro, it's okay to subvert expectations, but they're subverting expectations and then just jumping off the cliff. Like people are going, like, I don't get it. And I'm gonna say this again, but why be a hype man for Ashes of Creation in early 2023, 2022? Hell, if you're a PI that started in 2018, I don't know. However long you've been following this project, why
Sure.
be this way and then a month where they tell you that you're going to be literally testing this game within the next 2 to 3 months, right? Within the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to have our hands on this title. And you're like, I don't know. Like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Like,
Maybe this isn't the game of my dreams, guys. Maybe this isn't everything I've been hoping for. I gotta say it now to protect myself.
Maybe it's maybe it's human nature. I don't know, like to get like this doubt. Like I think you hit it right there. Like it's just people like setting themselves up. Like they've been hurt so many times. Oh, you know what, bro? Else we are MMO therapists. That's what we are. Think about it. We are
Man.
literally providing a therapy session for the MMO community and the Ashes of Creation community right now. Let's talk to them. Let's hey guys, come sit on the
come sit on the couch. You just let us know how
couch.
you're feeling. Yeah.
Welcome to the tavern in Verra. Come on into our offices at Winstead and sit on.
Grab yourself
couch.
a drink. It's nothing. Like we'll keep
comfy.
it confidential. We'll keep it confidential between me and Nyce's channel and on Twitch and on YouTube and on Discord. Like it'll be private. It'll be confidential. It's just like 200 people that see what's going on. But like, yeah, tell us what's going on.
Like, all right, come here, chat. Here. Let me maximize my camera. I need so you guys can see me. Come here. I know it's okay. I know you've been hurt. The MMO genre has not been in a good space. You've been, maybe let down by some Kickstarters or some MMORPGs in the genre that just, quite frankly, they just let you down. Gaming has not been good. You've been getting ripped off by pay to win, loot boxes, everything that you've grown attached to. Your friends stop playing, and
your feelings are valid, is what we're trying to say.
It's okay. Your feelings are valid. It's okay. I know we know you've been hurt. We're here for you. We're different. Intrepid's not like those other guys. Like you can trust them. It's okay. You're almost there. You were doing really good. You were rehabbing very well, and it's time for you to get your groove back. It's okay to open your heart.
You got to prepare. You got to be okay. You got to be willing to get hurt again, guys. Like you got to, open yourself up. It's all right. We'll be there for you.
Understand that we are a testing environment, so we're gonna take things slow. We're not gonna give you everything you've been waiting for, like like initially, like right at the beginning. But we're gonna grow together. We're gonna get there for you. We're gonna take things slow, but you can put your trust in us. Just I'm even gonna cook for you. Let us cook. It's gonna be okay. Just keep your faith in us. It's okay. We know you've been hurt. We have to progress. We have to get past this. Come see us for a session every Tuesday at like 7:30 Eastern, and we'll get through this together. We're almost there. We're almost ready to commit to you. September at the latest. We're going to commit to you at some time this quarter, okay? Just stay strong. We're here.
Well said, Nyce. Well said.
I think we made a breakthrough.
I think we hit a breakthrough today. Guys, I'm just telling you, like we charge about $5 a minute. So if you guys can send us the $25, I'm just kidding.
MMO therapy ain't cheap, y'all.
Nope.
Make sure you guys clip that and send it to everybody. Clip that and send it to everybody as soon as they post Doomium in Discord or something. He said thanks,
Pull up
man.
A chair,
Starting
bud.
to feel better.
Pull up a chair, bud. Sit down. Guys,
okay, so I need to make that emote.
We're from ESO and New World, okay? If anybody knows what it's like to watch just an MMORPG collapse, it's us, okay? I'm just saying, we totally understand. Just have stuff lined up to play in the meantime. That's all we're saying. Just play. Like I had games lined up this year. I know I told Nyce this. I'm like, dude, I'm really excited for Alpha 2, but I'm gonna before Alpha 2 comes out, I got all these games I gotta play. I'm gonna play this, I'm gonna play this, I'm gonna play this. I set myself up to enjoy some other stuff. That way, if the game does get delayed and some stuff happens, you're not gonna lose your mind on Discord and randomly get banned for posting hate speech or something. So just relax a little bit.
Man, I don't know. Like we were supposed to be talking about server meshing, but I think the community needed this talk.
Planador says, quote, MMO therapy ain't cheap, y'all. Next t-shirt. That's a good t-shirt.
I
Yeah,
like that. Oh wait, yeah, that looked
that's
pretty
a good
cool on a
t-shirt.
t-shirt.
Yeah, and you get a hat,
Huh.
like a big trucker hat that just says take a seat, in the front.
Yeah, I like that. We need an emote of like maybe we could probably do a Steven emote or like just something where it just needs to be it just needs to be understood as the therapy emote for doomers.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some guy in the Ashes of Creation main Discord tomorrow, like posting like, guys, I don't think we're ever gonna get the rogue. I don't even think they started on it. And I just want to have an emote ready for that guy. You know? Like,
Yeah.
come, let's talk.
Like the rolls eye,
Let's
like the
talk.
rolls eye emote.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I gotta find the perfect emote or sticker. I think a sticker just so it like really blows up on the screen. I think a sticker. I gotta make a sticker tonight. I gotta do that. Is Elden
Oh,
Ring worth the price? Yes. That yes. Just without a doubt, yes. Too.
so
That's all I'll
yeah,
say.
Dark Souls games. Elden Ring's my first Dark Souls game. Elden Ring is, in my opinion, is game of the decade. It's the best game I've played. It's not typically my genre. It's just so well done. So it's like it's one of those. But the analogy I would use is, maybe it's not your favorite. Like maybe you're a weirdo and you don't like steak for some reason, right? Like you don't like steak.
Mhm.
It's like the best type of steak. So if you're gonna like it, you're probably gonna like that specific one. So I think it's worth getting.
Yeah. He says that video playing in the back. This mage has yet to be interrupted. That's because a lot of the PI are trash. Ah, they don't know what they're doing. Oh, and I'm just joking, obviously, of course, chat. But it's fun. By the way, just end the stream right there.
We were just talking about Alpha 2 beef, and like you just told the 30 people they're trash. Excellent.
I'm kidding, but the reason I said that is because it reminds me of a conversation Elsa and I had when this stream first came out, where we were. Elsa had a good point. He pulled up some old ESO footage of how early 2014 ESO gameplay and pre-launch ESO gameplay looked, and if you go back as like us as veteran PvPers right today, right? Us looking back at that footage, and it's not just because mechanics or something were different. Like, no, those players literally did not know what they were doing. They were not playing efficient. And it's funny looking back at that old footage, like, what are you doing? Like, you could just do this, or this is a better combo, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's what we're witnessing with a lot of the gameplay. Granted, I think the gameplay looks sweet,
Yeah.
gameplay wise, but when it comes to player skill, that's you can't expect that much right now. We're watching people that have only X amount of hours on the game. They're playing a different test and build probably every time they log into these test servers. This is just people early on in the game. No guides available for them. They're just picking up their character and they're playing. And
Yep.
yeah, so do keep that in mind. If you ever watch like some of this Node Wars gameplay, for instance, think about your MMO and then go watch really old compilations or gameplay of that MMO and watch how different players have evolved and skills and strategies have developed. You'll be actually put in a better mindset set about what you're seeing about things like that, like someone not being interrupted or maybe
Yeah.
misuse of mana and such.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation that we're bringing up again, but it was funny seeing people talk about the Node Wars, and they're like, yeah, the game looks really like, I think somebody said remedial, and they're like, yeah, the gameplay looks really remedial, it looks very basic, and it's like, guys, that they're like level 15 characters, right? They're not even max level characters. They don't have max level skill points. They have very basic gear. Like this isn't a fleshed out form of the game. And I'm in no disrespect because I'm gonna look like the exact same jumping in my first 5 to 10 hours into the game. But like you get better as you play a game. Your muscle memory kicks in. You know when to use buffs and debuffs, and a lot of players like that hopped in for these tests. It's like they didn't play a ton of hours, and so they're going to get better too. And as they get better, the gameplay is going to look better, and you'll see people dying more easily and everything. And it's not an insult. It's just like, yeah, you go look at We should do this at some point. Nice. We should pull up like our clips from like 5 to 6 years ago in ESO, and then our more
Yeah.
recent clips, just to show like this is the difference. This is what happens when people put hundreds and thousands of hours of gameplay into something. It looks better. Shockingly.
Just does. Yeah. I think that would be cool. Actually, I literally have the first outnumbered PvP video, or my first outnumbered PvP moment in ESO ever. I actually have a video of it unlisted on my channel. And I actually watched it a couple of months ago. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. And it's like a
Mhm.
little, I think it was a 1v3. And watching that gameplay back then, I was watching it. I was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I pulled it off,
Yeah.
obviously, but I was like, wow, look how different the game was. But what am I doing? Like, oh, I should have did this. So
Yeah.
what is happening here? And so maybe that would be fun, like watching that clip and then maybe watching something a little bit more recent and just seeing the skill difference or how different players were back then. Yeah, that I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I have a clip that I'll randomly post to my Discord. It's like a 1v4 from like 7 years ago on ESO or 6 years ago. And I drop like
Hmm.
I'm a stamina Nightblade and I drop a meteor on him. And yeah, like it gets better, is what I'm trying to say. It starts off funny and it gets better. And so this is before transmog and everything too. So I had like the horned helmet and like it just didn't look great. And so yeah, it's gonna get better.
Yeah. Before we well, I guess let's just get into the next subject. I did link that article, and I know I sent it to you. I did link it in the Voices of Vera preview chat.
Yeah.
So for those of you that aren't aware, we have a dedicated Voices of Vera / dedicated Ashes of Creation Discord. You'll find that in the link in the description if you're on YouTube. You'll find it in most of my pinned comments as well. But in that Discord, we typically post links to stuff that we're going to bring up or talk about in the stream, or just even subject matters. So if you guys want to join the Discord, we'll sometimes ping before we go live or update people if a stream gets its date channeled. But let me bring up this article so that you guys can see it. I'm going to bring up that server meshing
The
article
server
so we
meshing.
can talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, chat. Here, let me make sure you guys can see this first. So obviously, chat, we don't know what to expect with this upcoming stream from Intrepid. But they did get first we knew it was a tech stream, and then we got a little bit more details about that it is server meshing. So this has been a very interesting no, you did not miss the showcase today. The showcase has actually been delayed until this Wednesday, Wednesday the 3rd. So you actually lucked out, and yeah, and we'll stream Wednesday after the Intrepid stream that night, maybe around it should be our usual time, like 7:30 Eastern. We'll do a first impressions / react stream to that and what we found. So yeah, you lucked out. So yeah, server meshing. This is something that's typically on from my understanding, basically just mostly popular recently, at least with Star Citizen. And so what I have pulled up here and in the Discord is this article. It's a Q&A on server meshing and persistent streaming for Star Citizen. Cuz this is, and once again, I'll reiterate, we don't know what server meshing means in terms of how Intrepid means it or what technology is coming. Zev, thank you so much for the follow. So this is just, trying to read up on it and everything like that. And there was a couple of interesting questions. So I'll pick a couple. There was a couple of juicy bits of this article. I'll try to find them again. So this question here in the Q&A says, "What is the current state of the server meshing tech, and what are the biggest issues holding it back?" Answer is, most people when talk about server meshing usually think about the very final step of this technology where m- where we mesh servers together. The truth is that before this final step, a very long chain of pre-requirements and fundamental technology changes need to be made to our game engine. With that in mind, I will try to answer the question in context of the full picture. The short answer is the state is actually very advanced. Now, the long version, the road to server meshing started back in 2017, 2018. He then goes on about object container streaming. I'm not going to get into this boring tech stuff right now, chat. Entity
Yeah, that's
authority
Wednesday.
transfer. Yeah, that's gonna be Wednesday. Replication layer and persistent stream. But there was static and dynamic server meshing. So a really interesting part is here. Let me jump to that actually. So this question right here, I feel like we can almost relate it to freeholds and how it would work with an Ashes of Creation. This is the question I felt like may be close to what we the news that, or information that we get Wednesday. And so here's the question. How do you plan on managing a large ship, say a javelin? Would that be its own dedicated resource with ships around it? So how to maintain something in the world when it comes to server meshing? And they respond with this. With dynamic server meshing, it's possible that large ships, such as a Javelin, could have their own dedicated server assigned to run the authoritative simulation for that ship and everything on it. However, we're trying to avoid having inflexible rules about how entities get assigned to processing resources. So that might not always be the case. It comes down to efficiency in terms of both processing speed and server costs. If we had the hard rule that each Javelin and everything in it gets its own server, then it wouldn't be very cost efficient when a Javelin only has a handful of players on it. The same rule also wouldn't be efficient in terms of server processing speed if there were hundreds of players all crowded in the same Javelin, as the rule would prevent us from distributing the processing load across multiple servers. And this second paragraph right here, chat, is where I think it gets like a little bit more where I kind of want to I think this is the yeah, this is the one. Where I think you could kind of visualize or just theory craft how this is going to work with freeholds and how that really works out with server meshing. So dynamic server meshing will be a bit different in that it will constantly reevaluate how best to distribute the simulation aiming to find the sweet spot so that no single server is overloaded or underutilized. I think that's a very important sentence right there. They go on to say, as players move around the verse, the ideal distribution of processing resources will change. To react to those changes, we'll need the ability to transfer authority over entities from one server to another, as
Yeah.
well as bring new servers online and shut down old ones. This will allow us to move the processing load from a server that is at risk of becoming overloaded, think about performance chat, to one that is currently underutilized. If none of the existing servers have enough spare capacity to handle an increase in load, we can simply rent more servers from our cloud platform provider. And when some servers don't have enough load to make them cost efficient, some of them can transfer their parts of the simulation over to others, and we can shut down the ones we no longer need. That was the most interesting part of this whole article. And once again, this is from Star Citizen. This is not a statement or,
It's not Ashes of Creation.
it's not Ashes of Creation or what they said they're doing, but this is pretty in line with everything that you would read up on when it comes to server meshing. And I thought that was really cool because I think that little Q&A part right there gives you an idea of how big of a deal server meshing can be. I start the stream off with talking about this, but performance is perhaps the most important thing in an MMO next to probably combat, right? Teach their own, but those two things you kind of need them in order to have a good experience. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point, Nyce, and that's what I tried to cover in my video. I didn't want to go too tech heavy, because I just don't know anything about server meshing, and so me attempting to just come off as stupid and uninformed. And the other thing is the point with this tech presentation is them attempting to solve a problem. That's how I'm looking at it. And so if we evaluate all the MMORPGs the voices of Verra have played over the years, what are the biggest issues in an MMORPG? Some people would claim sharding, right? Nyce, like some of the issues with MMORPGs is sometimes it feels empty because you jump in and a lot of the map is sharded and it's not looking as big as it actually is. And so people look at it as like almost like an empty world, and they choose to do sharding because it makes the game work better, right? And so you can look at that as a potential situation. The other situation, a lot of big scale games that claim to be large scale PvP games or large scale world games, is they often suffer from performance. Like crippling performance means that people aren't going to play it. And so one of the examples I talked about was like that Arc Age clip you sent us, Nyce. people like the Arcade clip is people way zoomed out on the map to where like their character's like 2 or 3 pixels. There's less stuff going on, and so they can keep more players on the screen at the same time. And it's still attempting to solve the same problem. How do you have a massively multiplayer online role-playing game that's immersive, that works, and it actually looks like it's a full world? And so I think those are the questions they're trying to solve with server meshing. And I think it's if it has to work, like if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. But I think this is a better solution than going the sharding route, and it's a better solution than going the top down like 3 pixels route. Like then you can, if they can pull this off, then you have a potential of having like a more immersive world that still does large scale PvP well. We get kicked out of chat? Is he there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I muted my mic. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I was
I'm
like,
over here mid-sentence. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. One of the voices of Verra did not display their voice. Okay. So the article goes on to have like a little thing. Another thing I think is kind of relative to how sharding works with freeholds, and I'll just breeze through this really quick. If I make a base on the moon, will my base be reflected on the other shards that I am not on? And they basically said they plan to implement base building with server shards in mind. Claiming land for your base will claim this land on all shards, and we plan to replicate your base to all shards. However, one shard will have only one active version of that base. And then I think they get more into stuff that's specific to that game. But it goes to show you how, I guess the long story short of all this is to say that the impact that this can have on performance is huge. Like, I played the Elder Scrolls Online with servers that I think are probably 10 plus years old, and performance can sometimes be bad. And if you don't get that right, it's easier to fix that right now while you're in development than 5 years down the road. You're like, players are still complaining about performance, and now you got to do this big project, take the game offline for a month, and do this and revamp that, and try to figure out what's wrong with the coding. Get that right now. Get prepared for the future. Performance is everything, and I know this is some geeky, techie, mumbo jumbo networking server, blah 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 to some people, but what this means, the fact that Intrepid is even caring to look into this and invest in this right now is big. It's
Yeah.
kind of like their jump from UE4 to UE5 is like minor setback, major comeback. Yes, looking into UE5 probably delayed development or launch, right? Yes, looking into server tech, like server meshing, is probably a little bit more difficult to get right and perfected more than whatever standard thing that they use for maybe their battle royale or what other games used in their MMOs. It's a minor setback for a major comeback, but it shows one, knowledge in the industry and innovation and looking forward, and the willingness to get things right the first time, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Performance is such a big deal, Chad, if I haven't said that already.
And to piggyback off that, Nyce, like what you're talking about here, like what we showed here, the Star Citizen one, the idea of allocating servers in different points, the TLDR of it is if you have like a point of a map, like let's say hypothetically they introduce a holiday event and like they have a specific boss that drops a once a season item, right? And it's very rare, and all of a sudden like 500 people are going to that area because they all want this drop, right? Or it's costume, doesn't matter. But all of a sudden you have a high focus of people in the area. They can spin up a server potentially, like what Star Citizen is saying is they can spin up a server that will literally run that area. So although you have a way higher conglomeration of people in that area, they have one server taking care of that area so that you're not going to have performance issues, which is something we encountered in New World. It's something we encountered in ESO with choke points with different parts of the map, like the new zones when they come out the new DLCs, stuff like that. Yeah. And so it's super interesting if Ashes incorporates it in the same way where they can go, hey, we're going to run up servers for Node Wars. So it's going to be on its, we're going to spin up a cloud server for a Node War. That way the 250 v250 isn't going to bog down a Node Siege. Sorry guys, isn't going to bog down the rest of the game. Like if people are sieging, like they're on their own cloud server, like everything's spun up for them specifically. If you're out picking plants and you're on the other side of the map, you're not going to be impacted by it because it doesn't matter for you. And so it's a really cool idea. We'll have to see exactly what the details are, of course, but yeah, it's pretty neat.
One of the voices of Verra, Erod says, I wonder if they announced that they hit the 1K versus 1K with server meshing. I'm actually curious.
Crazy.
Maybe they can, you know, maybe
Maybe they can
have,
increase
because
the server size.
Mayhaps. Like, there's no telling how much internal testing. Obviously, PIs do testing and such, and they have some internal testers, like obviously their employees and whatnot. But they also, from my understanding, hire outside testing, right? Like people to come and test their game, and maybe they found a company that can simulate 200 players or 200 players logged in under NDA, of course, and then they tested performance and they tested that their server meshing is working already. That would be impressive because for me, my prediction for the stream is that this is something that they plan to implement eventually. If they give us the news that they're already close on this or using this, that would be something. But yeah, so I could kind of see that perspective. Yeah. If I was able to ask Steven a question during this live stream, I'd ask how many servers would a siege utilize? I mean, in theory, it shouldn't take, especially in one area, it shouldn't take more than one server because the way server meshing works, it's basically putting, like, most games have a server or maybe a couple for one, like, instance, so to speak. For one war, one server should be more than enough. That server, I mean, I'm no tech genius, so don't take my word for it, but in theory, it should be able to handle that node war and maybe a POI next to it. Who knows? But that, I think that's all stuff that we're gonna get answers to here shortly, which is I don't know. It started off like, oh, it's just gonna be a geeky tech stream, but them announcing that it's server meshing and what that potentially means is actually a really big deal.
It's attempting to solve a huge problem that MMOs are facing. And I think
Yeah.
oftentimes performance is part of the reason why MMOs fall apart. So
Oh, your mic's cutting out bad. I heard like 3 words of this.
I saw that. I was going to say, I think oftentimes MMO performance is why some MMOs fall apart.
Yeah, performance is just why large scale battles just don't work in some MMOs. And that's like the biggest, I don't know. With Ashes of Creation wanting to do 250 v250, holy crap, we just got a raid from the one and only Nyce Gaming. Let's go. Aliens, let's go. Welcome on in, Surgeon General. Let's go. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for the raid. Thank you.
Welcome in,
on
Vladis.
in, everybody. How you doing, Vladis? Are you ready for some server tech? Stubbs, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you guys. Appreciate you coming in. Man, we've been all over everything this stream. You guys have missed a lot. We're 2 hours in, actually. Man. But yeah, I'm expecting, actually, I don't have too many clear expectations. You know how some streams you're like, okay, with the Ranger, I hope that the Ranger is like this. You know, I hope the fighter's like this. I hope they show this arc. I hope they show the weaponry. I hope they, with this tech stream. Thank you so much for the gifted sub, to Vladis Eraj. Thank you guys so much for the follows. Like, there's so much that compared to other streams, I don't have like a set expectation.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I think we're getting some news. I know we talked about it already, but I think
Wink,
we're getting
wink.
some news.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Like, we're getting some news, man.
Yeah, from my point of view, I don't know exactly how their server. It's Discord, man. Like Discord's cutting my voice out. Crazy.
Oh yeah.
So it's just Discord. It's working on stream. They're saying they're like, yeah, you're.
Oh yeah. So it's just You want to reconnect our calls, maybe,
Yeah, let
or
me.
hang up and come back?
How about this? Is this better? Better?
It is so
Okay, there we
far.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my perspective is I don't know what it's going to look like. I have no idea. I have
Oh
no
man,
idea
it's
how
cutting out.
there's yeah. I have no idea how their server meshing's yeah, it's just not working.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Discord. I'm just gonna hang up real quick and I'll be right back.
All right, yeah.
Blap, what's up, dude?
That's always funny to say. But this is no
Okay.
one who we do the we do this weekly. The voices of Verra. Node Siege soon. I don't think we'll get a Node Siege. Unless they like if they were to show the Bard and do a Node Siege. I think them showing Node Wars, the PvP Caravan Showcase. Because think about it, we only have one other stream in the air, right? We got the tech stream, which is gonna be June's technically. We got July. We don't know what July is, but one of the upcoming streams before Alpha 2 is the Bard. So let's just say July is Bard. Now you got August and September in the air. And September is when that's the latest time that we can get Alpha 2. So really, that's just one. It's really just one. And you
Yeah.
could I don't know. To me, it's just like really technically one besides the Bard. Not to say that they can't do like if Alpha 2 launch was September, they couldn't do like an early September introductory to what to expect in Alpha 2 stream, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah.
Their cadence has been late in the month. It would make sense if it continues to be late in the month.
Yeah.
For live streams.
Vlada says, "Are you guys going live on Wednesday next week for live stream?" Yes, it'll be us. It's gonna be Else and I and Richie as well after the live stream, probably that evening around 6:30 Central, just to react and get everyone's takes from the tech live stream. Hopefully, we got some news as well. You think the Rogue is after November or December? Yeah, possibly so. Possibly so. Maybe we don't even get Rogue this year, but we do have another. It's possible, but who knows what content, how content, or how frequent content is going to roll out during the Alpha 2. There's no telling.
Yeah. I have no
Warrior
horse in
with
the
the
race.
5 gifted subs. Thank you so much, buddy. Welcome on in.
Yeah, I have no horse in
Appreciate
this
your
race.
game.
I don't know what the content's going to be like. I kind of think we're going to get Rogue and Summoner early next year. Like spring, summer next year is when we get those two. But we'll see. We'll see.
5 days of PTO saved. Yeah, and that's one reason I'm hoping we get the month. Even if it's not the date, I hope we get the month this stream or very soon. Just so we can, like we said earlier, adults planning their lives around wanting to schedule time off, et cetera, et cetera. That would be really good. But yeah, someone said, yeah, even if they delivered just a character creator, there's so much that needs to be, not needs to be. I don't want to say it that way. There's so much things that could be announced this stream. Just to go through them again: Alpha 1 spot testing, character creator, a month, a specific date. Things like that. Like it's really cool. It's a really cool thing to consider. Thank you again for the gifted subs and all the follows, you guys. Appreciate you. Okay, there we go. Now I can see it. What are you guys talking about today, Vladis? Are you gonna go live Wednesday as well?
Like a fighter bard. Fiddle says, I want to make a fighter bard, so bard's the class I want to see. Me too, man. I've talked to Vladis about this. I've talked to Nyce about this. Bard might be the strongest class in the game. And so it'll be interesting to see how they employ it.
It'll be interesting to see, since the Bard is supposed to be the one that gives everybody that mana boost and everything like that. How you doing? Welcome on in, Blap. Like how different sustain looks. We saw a lot of people using channel mana during the Node War. Like how big of a difference is a Bard? I mean, they need to make sure it's impactful, of course, but how big of a difference is that Bard gonna make? I was talking about this like last week, but I really want to see that tank tree. I don't have to, but I really want to see that tank skill tree. DA, when he came on our show after the NDA got lifted, like he really had me like wanting to see that tank tree to see their progress on it. but it's okay to see leave some things a mystery before Alpha 2 is something that I think a lot of us got to realize.
Do you guys hear?
But
Do you
yeah,
guys hear this nonsense? Like Nyce has gotten 2 different tank streams, and he's gotten his fighter stream, and I'm over here bardless and rogueless, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I could use another live stream about my archetype. Like it'd be pretty great if I had this. You know what? It's not all about you, Nyce. Okay, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's so like you got to give us bards or rogues something. Like we got to get something at some point.
oh, I'm sorry. Is your rogues cloaking too good that you can't see? You haven't seen it yet? Damn, couldn't be me.
It's crazy. It's so good.
Eric,
It's not even coming out yet.
Eric says, "I hope all the Bard songs aren't all fluffy. I want some heavy metal Bard music." Man,
Oh,
if
let's
I was
go.
designing a Bard class, I got so many ideas. I'm sure all of you have some cool ideas how you would design certain archetypes, but the Bard, because the instruments aren't going to be dedicated weapons, right? You're still going to be like every other archetype. You're going to choose like a wand, a great sword, whatever, a bow. Who cares? So the way I would do it, because you know how they have the Rangers, marks and hunts, they have stuff like that. I would do like AoE buffs are typically used by the drums. No, things that raise attack power or offensive buffs are drums. You know, you start beating and ramping your teammates up, so that's an attack buff. You play like a lute or something, and maybe that's your offensive kit. Maybe there's a sleep, you know, or something that lowers enemy resistances because it's a lullaby. There's so many things you can do with that. You can do let's see, we got drums, we got lute. You got a guitar that maybe you stroke. I mean, a guitar is probably not going to be friendly in the world. I don't know, but you just hit it so hard it bounces a sound away. I don't know. I would like to see one thing I will say though is I hope it's not just instruments, but singing. And maybe you can the augment that you choose determine the voice that bard uses. Just little stuff like there's so much potential. AC, how you doing? Welcome on in. A siege with 8 bars drumming. Oh man, that'd be so
Yeah.
epic.
I want something with some deep bass for combat. Like you go in and it's reverberating because the bards are getting it started. It would kick off combat on a different level, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know if this is a hot take. I don't think this is a hot take, but I would like to say something. As innovative as Intrepid has been, as good as the class archetype showcases have been, what we've seen thus far has been more so what we've expected to see. Before the tank showcase, I got what I expected with the tank. Like, what I mean, and by the way, this isn't a bad thing. This is good because you know that means your expectations are being met, right? Or that class identity is being met. You know, the Aegis bubble, the Ranger being super evasive and obviously having moves with a bow. Um, the Mage being able to use a blink, using thunder attacks and such like that. That stuff is all really fine and dandy and cool, but it's kind of like the mage doesn't look crazy different than a mage from your current MMO, right? And the fighter, obviously, that's just your melee brawler. Nothing groundbreaking in that department. As cool as it looked, as hybrid action combat, the gap closes, the status effects of bleeds, all that is cool. So not taking away anything from that because all that's amazing. But you know what? It has all been more so less what I've expected. But when it comes to the Bard and the Summoner, I got a feeling that Intrepid is bringing the innovation, and stuff that we haven't seen necessarily before. I think they're tweaking things a little different. I always go back to this December showcase from 2022, I think it was, where that's the only time they've mentioned the Summoner. It might have been Trad from the combat team, but how you doing, Miko? It might have been Trad from the combat team where he said Summoner's always, you know, this pet class. The pet's always out. You know, he's never gotten into it because of how they play. Don't like how they play. And then the other combat dev, I forget his name, but he was talking about he's super excited about what they're doing with the Necromancer or the Summoner, and he thinks we're going to be, you know, like that tells me even 2 years ago they had their plans for the Summoner and they know the combat direction they want to go with, and it just got me excited just that little bit that they spoke on. Like, what are you going to do different with the Summoner? Like, how are you going to make this not just a pet class? And to me, that's a fun thing to ponder. And with the Summoner and the Bard being the latest release, that to me makes me feel like, okay, maybe they just felt like these classes are the least essential. Well, the Summoner is the least essential to not the Trinity, but the whatever you want to call it for Ashes of Creation, the square, because if it's not a Trinity, because you kind of got to put Bard in there. Um, it kind of let me know that they've put in the most detail and ingenuity into these last two archetypes, likely, and that they want to be a little bit more innovative with it. Maybe the Bard is very similar to what people played with the in the Dark Age of Camelot, but I got a feeling that we're gonna get something like really different because not too many MMOs have a Bard right now. Not too many modern MMOs, that is. And as far as the summoner, I really, really think that they're doing something special. I still remember that message Steven typed in Discord where he was like, summoner may make it into Alpha 2. Like, that to me means that that was Steven just getting a little excited. He walked over to their desk and saw some magic happen. He's like, oh, this is going to be done by Alpha 2. And that's freaking sick. Even though obviously that's not what ended up happening. But it just makes me think that the rest of the classes, there's references in them for in other MMOs, right? There's reference, you know what to expect. Summoner and Bard, I feel like they're gonna get a little bit loose with it. A little bit loose with it. You think Bard will be like Guild Wars 1 Mesmer? I never even looked at Guild Wars 1. I love Guild Wars 2. I never even looked at Guild Wars 1. Tank those in the towel before he even catches a glimpse of the rug. Oh, okay, we'll see. We'll see. No CC bards. I think a CC bard is fine. I mean, don't make that the class identity or like have them crazy with
Yeah.
CC like a tank or a fighter, but I think a little lullaby. I mean, in my opinion, that AoE sleep, that AoE range sleep that the mage has, to me, that makes more sense on a bard, to be honest. Maybe they can have a sleep as well, but a bard singing a lullaby or playing a certain tune that puts enemies around in a slumber, to me, that just, and I know mages obviously can have sleep spells and whatever, and I'm not saying it's never been done or it's not lore friendly, but if anything, I hope a bard does have CCs like that, something that slows you down. I mean, there's just so many ways you can make it make sense.
I'm really looking forward to see what they do with the Bard and Summoner because, like you said, it's the creative archetypes that they can do some unique things in and pull different ideas from. Yeah.
All right. Well, we I know a lot of you just rated in, but we have been at this for way over 2 hours. We're gonna call it here. This has been episode. Oh yeah, Bard equals Jigglypuff. This has been episode 51, you guys. Episode 51 of the Voices of Verra. I've been Nyce Gaming. This is there no one else? And we couldn't do this without you, the Voices of Verra. Thank you guys so much for the gifted subs, the follows, the
Thank you,
raids. We
guys.
appreciate you guys. We will see you Wednesday with Richie SH after the stream. I am very excited and looking forward to what Intrepid is doing with their tech and their server meshing. This has been a really fun one, and I hope you guys have a really good weekend. Hope you guys have a really good weekend. TGIF. And yeah. Any parting words for you, else?
We'll see you guys on Wednesday. We're going to talk about some tech and we're going to all pretend to be experts about how it's going to change the MMORPG space. But until then, enjoy your weekend. Like Nyce said, go outside, touch some grass, engage in 2 less conspiracy theories. Okay, that's all I ask.
Yeah.
Like whatever your conspiracy theory limit is for this weekend, just go. You know what? I'm going to take 2 off the top, and I'm just not going to do this.
Yes, relax to Doomium.
Yeah,
we're almost there, and good news is coming there for you guys. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Peace.